Hey guys, super grateful that you're here. Thanks for tuning in, but get ready. This is going to be awesome. Passive prospecting using YouTube with Levi Lasek. This came from my live event I just did recently. Levi's like a rags to riches story. You're going to love this. He's made millions in commissions, barely made anything in the first 6 months. And he and his partner, Travis Plum, they've only done this in the last 3 years. So before we jump to the event video, I'm working really hard to bring great content that will help agents blow their business up like I did in any market. My goal is to try to get past 1,000 subscribers as soon as I can. So please take a minute, like and subscribe so I can keep doing this because I love doing it. So I love helping agents. All right, let's rock and roll. I just want a warm welcome for these guys. So before we do that, let me just introduce them. Levi and Travis were not agents 3 years ago, okay? And Levi's just that analytical guy, and he decided that he was going to become a YouTuber, and that was the method that he was going to use to get leads to come to them. And my business partner, about 5 months into it, said, "Why are you doing YouTube? It's a waste of time." That's exactly what he said to him. So around, I'm not going to speak for them, I think around 6 or 7 months, YouTube the analytics started to pick it up. It just grew and grew and grew. So these two gentlemen have made over $4.5 million in GCI in the last 2.5 years from YouTube, and they spend zero. There's no ad spends whatsoever. So let's welcome, and he's not quite ready. So let's give a big warm welcome from Dallas, Texas. I've never met a Texan I don't like. From Dallas, Texas, Levi Lasek and his partner, Travis. I believe if you want to come up and say hi, but I'll let you go from here. There you go.
Oh, thank you. All right, thank you very much. So let me see. Let me make sure this works. Turn that on. All right, we're good to go. All right, so I've never been to Canada before, and now I've been here twice. I was just here last week in Vancouver, and now here in Calgary, so I think that qualifies me to say, hey, right? Can I say, hey? All right, good. Which I give you permission, if you go to Texas, you can say y'all, all right? So if you go to Texas, you can say y'all. All right, so let's get this started and get going here. So my name's Levi again. I always give a shout out to my business partner, Travis Plum, been very instrumental in the business as well. And I always start out with this, this is how it started, okay? So think about this, all right? So everybody who's waiting to be perfect first, don't do that. Yeah. Are y'all laughing at me? What? Are you laughing at the way I look? Okay, all right, I see how it is. But this was 2011, all right? So I did what really most people typically do is I got started, which is there's something to that. I believe in taking action, but I didn't have a plan in place. I didn't know what I was doing. I just started making some videos. This was completely different. I was documenting a health journey I was going through at that time, and I thought I'm just going to kind of share, my journey as I go along. No plan, knew nothing about YouTube. Started posting. I mean, look at the top of my head is cut. This is full frame. So the top of my head is cut off. I've got a thermostat. You know how YouTubers have all the really cool glowy lights in the background? Mine's a thermostat, okay? So maybe I started that trend, I don't know, in 2011. But I don't even have a beard, so I look really weird, right? So that's the thing, is that I just got started, but what did I do? I made some videos, and then I quit. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't see traction. I didn't get the feedback. I didn't get the vanity metrics that I was looking for, and so I stopped. And that was the end of my YouTube career for the last 12 years. But now, moving into this is what happened. Started in December of 2020, really started the real estate career. Sold 0 homes in 2020, released the first YouTube video on December 5th of 2020, and then that means we sold 0 homes in Q1 of 2021. So this doesn't just happen overnight. It took a little bit of time, about 90 days to get that first deal under contract. But once we did that, we closed the very first 2 transactions in April of 2021 from the channel. And then this is what happened in the last 9 months of that year. We generated 690 leads from the channel. We closed 64 transactions, $33.5 million in volume, just $1,007,000 in commissions in our first full year of real estate. Now, it completely snowballed after that, and this is what happened in 2022. We ended up generating 1,958 leads from the channel. Could you imagine having 5.4 inbound leads every single day? Christian just talked about being overwhelmed. That's a lot of people calling you every day wanting to work with you. This is YouTube only. This isn't our whole business. But just from YouTube, we closed 156 transactions, 86.1 million volume, 2.3 million in commissions. But that was great. That was 2022, right? What's happening this year so far? Well, guess what? Leads are down, but conversion is up. We're actually having our highest converting year, which tells us anybody that's calling us right now is extremely serious, and we've had nothing but over 7% interest rates this entire year, at least in the U.S. Not sure how it works here. Does it work? Do you have interest rates here? I don't know. Okay, all right. So, all right. But still, we've done almost 35 million in closed volume from the channel with 7% interest rates. So that's pretty good from one lead source, wouldn't you say? Would you like to have an extra 35 million in production this year from one lead source? Yeah, and then that's not our whole business, but that's the power. I mean, YouTube is helping us through this market, right? Very challenging right now. So here's the deal. Why do agents fail? I found these stats very interesting. The average agent starts with less than $5,000 to their name. That's why they typically cold call and door knock and bug their friends and family, right? Because that's going to pay your bills. You can't put that towards a marketing budget. So even according to NAR on their website, agents with less than 2 years of experience make on average $8,800 a year. I don't know about you, but I'd get out of the business really quickly if I was making $8,800 a year. Now, it's a rejection-based business. If you start cold calling and door knocking, right, you're going to face some rejection. Most people don't like that. But if you're not effective at lead generation, you're going to be out of business very quickly. Now, this should absolutely scare you to death. This is straight from NAR's website. 16 years or more experience, the average income is $80,000. And that's down from $85,000 in 2021. You just got a decrease in pay. And I don't know about you, but I do not want to work anywhere for 16 years to make $80,000. But that's what average is. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to be average? Well, I don't. So whenever I started to look at this, I wanted to understand, okay, where are the eyeballs? If I'm going to get into real estate, where are people actually looking? So I started to look at suburbs around Dallas, Texas. I looked on Google and I found like Plano, Texas got 90,500 searches per month. That's a lot. But whenever I looked on YouTube, it got 834,000 searches per month. That's 10 times the search volume on YouTube than it is on Google. So that right there told me that people are actually looking for this information. They want to see it through video versus just read about it on a blog or on the website. So this is what allowed me to discover the passive prospecting principles, okay? This is very important because I want to hopefully change your mindset when it comes to marketing real quickly, because the thing is that if you don't understand these concepts, it's just going to be difficult to grasp, social media in general. But think about interruption versus intention. This really hit me upside the head. Interruption marketing is something that we've been exposed to and probably what you've conducted in your business your entire life, right? It's cold calling, it's door knocking, it's TV commercials, billboards, magazine ads, right? Who here loves to get a phone call in the middle of dinner about your car warranty expiring? Nobody? Right. You're like, I just bought my car yesterday. How could my car warranty even be expiring? But you get interrupted like that. And what do? They interrupt you over and over and over again. I mean, you could see a dog food commercial 10 times a day. Doesn't mean you're going to run out and buy dog food, right? But when you pour out the last bowl of dog food, nobody wants Fluffy to die. And so you say, okay, now I have to go buy dog food. So you're going to go to the store, go directly to the dog food aisle and buy it. So now you have intention to buy something. And when you have intention to buy something, do you need any marketing or advertising to convince you that you need to buy it? So you have to ask yourself this question. Do you believe people become intentional when it comes to buy or sell a home? Do Do you think there's something that happens in their life that triggers them to want to buy or sell a home? But yet we're talking to people in the Starbucks line and giving them our card, hoping to get them in the database like Brent said, right? Hey, let's have a party and let's hope to get their information. Why? We have no idea if they're ever going to be in the market. They could not be in the market for the next 5 years. But if people become intentional, they start searching and researching. And why not put ourselves in front of those people? And so we pulled up back-end analytics of our channel right here. Now look at this. They say 80% of the traffic online is mobile. But if you look at 55% of our traffic comes from TV, computer, and tablet. Those are research devices. I mean, think about this. Almost 30% of our traffic comes from TV, which means people are sitting on their couch or maybe even laying in bed watching our videos. How intentional do you think those people are if they're watching Dallas, Texas real estate videos on their TV or in their bed, right? So that's a big deal. Now, they also say attention spans. Actually, Christian said it. I don't know if he's still in here. He said attention spans are dead these days, right? That's why you're supposed to be the dancing real estate agent on TikTok. No offense, Christian. No. He's never danced in a video. I know. Yeah, he's never danced. Yeah. But they say attention spans are dead these days, but look at this on TV. Look at the average view duration. They say it takes 6 minutes of online video consumption for somebody to start to build a relationship with you. But on TV, the very first time they watch one of our videos, they're well over that. All right, 9 minutes and 27 seconds. Look at that, 5:19 for computer, 5:59 tablet. Where's their attention span the least? Yes, it's on mobile. But even better, YouTube is the most content or the most creator-friendly platform out there. They want to promote your videos, unlike most other platforms like Facebook and Instagram that want you to pay to play, right? So when YouTube suggests our videos, and their whole goal is time on platform, that's all they want is people to spend as much time as possible on YouTube. Well, when they suggest our videos to people, guess where that view duration? So they know people so well that they're going to recommend Dallas, Texas, or Calgary real estate videos to these people, and they know they're going to likely watch them. That's how powerful it is, and that's why our average contact to under contract is 51 days. That means the first time somebody's ever reached out to us, we typically get them under contract in 51 days. That's how fast they are. That's how intentional they are. So it's very important. Global versus local, all right? This is something, it's like one thing to farm your local neighborhood, but Brent talked about this earlier, right? Being global, maybe that was the other meeting, but being global, do you want to attract business outside of your neighborhood or your city or your country? I mean, would you ever market to the US or would you ever market to Belgium or the Philippines? Probably not. You wouldn't want to spend that money, and how are you going to do that anyways? But because we have YouTube's a global platform, we're getting people watching the channel 24/7. Just like Christian said, right? Lead generation that happens in our sleep. Look at this. When's the last time you cold called or door knocked at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning? But we've got 69, 70, 73 people watching at 2 a.m. But that may not even be local. 2 a.m. could be 9 a.m. in Europe. It could be 5 p.m. in Japan. And so every single day, not every single day, but every week at least, we get emails just like this. Hey, we're a family of 6 with 2 cats. And originally from Florida, but living abroad in Belgium. For the past 6 years, we're relocating to Texas. We'll be working out of offices in Dallas. So do you think somebody that lives in Belgium is just going to come in and randomly look at homes on a weekend? No. They're starting their research, and they're saying, we're getting transferred there. I have no idea what that. You know how many people we've helped move from Canada, and we've never marketed to Canada? We've had people moving from South Africa, from Australia, Guam, Sweden, Japan. We've helped people all over the country in the first couple of years of our business, and we've never marketed out there, but because we have the global reach, we're able to do that. This guy contacted us from the Philippines a month before. Look at this. Watched your channel for a year. I'll be relocating in December. This was November when he reached out to us. Again, contact to contract. He watched the channel for a year, and when he became intentional to buy real estate to make that move, he reached out within that time frame, and we helped him out and got him moved here. So, the thing is that the number one reason usually agents tell me they don't get started is because it takes too much time, but YouTube does not take time. It makes you time. This one video took 30 minutes to make, but it's been watched 11,600 hours. So in my opinion, that's like profiting 11,595 hours of the time that I invested. And if I said, hey, if you give me 30 minutes and I give you back 12,000 hours, would you take it? Yeah. And you could spend that time with your family, your friends, your spouse, your loved ones on vacation. Would that be worth it? If you didn't have to spend 12,000 hours prospecting, would that be worth it? And that's making time. But my favorite concept of this is really compounding time. We all love the idea of compound interest. But look at this. The channel was watched in one day, 1,514 hours. You divide that by 24 hours in a day, that is equivalent to 63 days of prospecting. But it gets better. In 1 month, the channel has watched 11,800 hours. That's equivalent to 1.34 years worth of prospecting. And last year, our channel has watched 104,600 hours. You divide that by 24 hours in a day, that's equivalent to almost 12 years of prospecting. That's why we've been able to do the business that we've done in the first 2.5 years, is because the prospecting is not directly tied to us. We're not spending 2 or 3 hours of our day every single day trying to generate business. And I'm talking about 24 hours in a day. If you actually divide 104,600 hours by your 2 hours of prospecting every day, that's equivalent to 143 years worth of prospecting. Yeah. How does that make you feel? When you're calling 2 hours every single day, we're getting that, every minute. Probably even less than that of watch time. So we're compounding time, right? Turning 1 day into 2.1 months, 1 month into 1.34 years, 1 year into 1.2 decades worth of prospecting. So, the way it comes down is active prospecting, it's hard. It's why all sales training exists. It's probably why you're here today. It's why we read books, we hire coaches, we go to conferences. You're here to learn something, right? Because I've been in sales for 20 plus years. Love sales, hated prospecting. But you know what? I did it because it was the necessary evil to be the best if you want to be the best. You've got to be the best prospector if you want to be the best salesperson. But I spent 90% of my time, I felt like, all the time prospecting, to 10% to actually sit in front of the person that I was wanting to, talk about my product or service about. And so, that's the difference with passive prospecting. That's why we call this passive prospecting, is because it's easy. 0 rejection. Nobody has ever called me and said, Levi, I hate your videos, therefore I'm not going to do business with you. Hasn't happened yet. The people that don't want to work with us never call us, and we don't even know they exist. Okay? The client walks themselves through the entire sales process. Is anybody ever familiar? You've seen like the sales process, the client journey, a funnel, something, you ever seen that? Like awareness, familiarity, and then, okay. Well, guess what? You usually have to pay to push somebody through that process, right? You have to pay for impressions. You have to pay for advertising. This, they do it all on their own. They go on YouTube and start searching. Or maybe Google, and guess where Google's pushing people? Because they know everybody wants to see video. You Google anything now, what do you see? YouTube videos on the home page. So they start searching on their own. They see your video, they click on it on their own, then they watch it on their own. Then guess what? YouTube serves them more of your videos, because as soon as they watch one, guess what? That triggers YouTube. Oh, they must like this type of video. I'm going to send them more. And that's true, right? Because you've all made the mistake of watching one silly cat video, and then in the next 30 days, your feed is full of cat videos, and you're like, oh man. So I'm very careful about what I click on YouTube. Incognito window, by the way. If you want to watch something, I'll go. So the video builds the relationship for us. That's the thing. Everybody likes to say, I'm in the relationship business, right? That's why I'm not on social, because I'm in the relationship. Well, guess what? The video builds the relationship for us. When the clients call us, they've already made the decision that they want to work with us. We don't have to sell them on why. And you can see this. It's funny that Christian was showing this too. Like, you're not going to read this, but I want you to notice the amount of information on these emails to us or text messages. Okay, when's the last time your postcard campaign triggered somebody to send you their life story in an email? And they said, man, I really loved that postcard you sent me. It was amazing. Let me tell you everything about my life. But here they do it to us all the time. They're like, every day we get the phone calls, the Zooms, the emails, and they say, look at this. They tell us price range, when they're moving, where they want to move to, the size of the home, everything. But these key phrases, we would like to check with you if you'd be able to help us find a home. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for your time. I look forward to hearing from you. If you have time to talk about this, feel free to give me a call. What would that do to your business if you had people reaching out to you and saying, hey, do you have time to help me find a home? Because we look so busy on video, people think that's all we do. And they think we're so busy because they just see that and they're like, hey, can you help me next, please? What position do you think that puts us in? A pretty good one, right? Do you think that relationship is already established? All we have to do is not mess it up, right? It may be passive prospecting, but it is active conversion. So we need to solidify and justify that relationship, right? We need to take care of these people, and that's why we've been able to convert. But it's so easy. This is the easiest clients I've ever worked in. I've gone from cell phones to pharmaceuticals to financial services. I was always chasing people, and I always had to build rapport, establish credibility, right? Develop that relationship, and tried to do that in a very short period of time so they would know, like, and trust me, so maybe they'll do business with me. And here they just show up every day. We're ready to do business with you. That's the power. So this is where I developed the passive prospecting process, okay? So does anybody have a YouTube channel right now? Okay, good. You'll learn something, hopefully, maybe. All right, so number one, when I started researching this before getting started, okay? I developed a plan. Now, the thing is that Levi Lasik is not a search term. By the way, my last name is Polish. You can't say it or spell it. It's nearly impossible. Not a very good marketing term. But it wasn't a search term either. Travis wasn't either. Travis wasn't a search term, right? Nobody's searching Levi and Travis. Okay, so if we name the channel Levi Lasik or Levi and Travis or Levi and Travis's home selling team, we have no branding. Nobody knows who we are. And so we looked at top search terms, right? We started to figure out, well, YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google. Google owns YouTube. Their search goes hand in hand. So what are the main search terms associated with Dallas and real estate? Moving to Dallas, relocating to Dallas, Dallas, Texas real estate. I would have called the channel Dallas, Texas real estate if it was the top search term, but it wasn't. So actually living in Dallas was. So we're like, okay, we'll name the channel that. That was it. Give us more opportunity to be found. Then we started thinking about, okay, what do we want right here? This is what everybody's going to see on desktop or mobile. Now, most agents will put their name, their logo, phone number, email, everything right there in the middle. But to us, that's kind of like a premature sales pitch, right? We haven't earned the right. It's kind of like getting that just sold, or postcard. I mean, what value does that actually provide to somebody? But here, if somebody's searching, remember, we got to think about who's on this platform looking around. What kind of answers are they looking for? Well, guess what? They're looking for information on living in Dallas, Texas. So we tell them that right there in the middle. So they know once they come here for the very first time, they're in the right place. Okay, that's a value-driven statement right there. Now, on top of that, we let them know, all right, we speak other languages. Over here, we have a nice little map. We got a lot of people coming from California, New York, and Illinois. That's rapport building right there, right? That's a connection. When people see that, they go, oh, okay. We even took it as far. Now, look, I have no idea if this is scientifically true or not, but we put like a little yellow car, like a yellow taxi coming from New York, all those business people coming on the plane from Illinois, and that's actually a green station wagon, all the hippies coming from California. So it's just something a little extra, right, to try to just get a connection with people. Now, we just changed this up. I know I just talked about not having your phone number on there, but YouTube just changed up this banner. They used to have links right here. Now, most agents, most YouTubers will put Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. You can have 5 links there. But remember, the point of a funnel is direct people exactly where you want them to go. And you don't want to give them decision, indecision. So if you put multiple links up there, they're not going to know where to go, or they're going to get confused. But if you link Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, again, no offense, Christian, if you link those up there, right, why distract them to a short-form platform where they're likely going to end up watching cat videos anyways? Okay, think about it, right? I know if I log on to Instagram, sometimes I go there with intention, but guess what? Travis just sent me a funny video, and I click on that funny video, and then what happens? I scroll, and it's the next one, and then all of a sudden I'm off on this tangent, and you get caught up, and like 20 minutes later, you're like, oh, wait, what did I even come here in the first place? So we want them to stay on the platform as long as possible. The only reason we want them to leave, if that's to book a call with us. This is how we have people book directly into our Zoom calendar all the time. We just have Zoom calls pop up on our calendar. Why? Because we tell them, moving to Dallas, Texas, let's chat. Okay, so they just moved that. So now this is visible on mobile too. It used to be over here. It wasn't visible on mobile. So our emblem right there said, moving to Dallas, Texas, let's chat, book a call. Number 1 clicked link on our entire YouTube channel right there. Now we put a QR code because this section is only visible on TV and computers. Okay, it's not visible on mobile. So if they're on a mobile, of course, they can't scan it, doesn't matter, but it's not visible on mobile. But if they're watching from TV, which you saw, 55% of our traffic is coming from devices other than mobile, they could now scan that as well. We'll track that. We just put that up there too because they literally just changed this like within the last week or so. So, this is all intentional. This is all strategic. Everything that we've done on this, and that's the reason we're doing the business we're doing as well, because this is thought out. This is learned. This is understood. Now, content creation strategies. There's several of them, probably 8 or 9 good ones I could talk through, but these are the top 4. These will pretty much work in any market that you do. We call it a vlog tour, really a neighborhood tour, something like that, taking people out. The thing is that for those of you that are a little uncomfortable with getting on video, guess what? You're just having a conversation with a camera. You've done this 1,000 times. You meet with somebody, you go show them a home, or you go meet with them at their house, you take them around, you talk about the neighborhood. Hopefully you know your neighborhoods, right? Hey, I want to move to this area. Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about the neighborhood. You do that, right? You have that conversation. The only difference is whenever they leave, that conversation is gone and lost forever. Nobody will ever hear that conversation ever again. That's one-to-one. Now, all I have to do is if I really want to maximize my time, after they leave, I can just stick around in that neighborhood and say, you know what, I'm going to recreate that conversation. I'm just going to hold my camera out and do that talking to my camera, and then guess what? Then if I post that on YouTube, now I'm giving the opportunity for 10, 100, 1,000, maybe 10,000 people to see that same information. Now, you ever said, hey, I wish I had more hours in the day? That's how you do it. You make a video. You ever said, hey, I wish there was just more of me, but I can't afford an assistant or a VA, or I don't want to pay for one? Well, make a video. You make a video, you've got an extra of you. You make 2 videos, you've got 3 of you. You make 4 videos, you got 5 of you out there working for you. Map tours blew me away. A little experiment, but actually sharing a screen on Zoom. No fancy software. I just get on Zoom, share my screen of a Google map, and walk people. Anybody can look at a Google map online, no problem. But what they can't get is my perspective, my stories, your perspective. Does it really take 20 minutes? Google says it's 20 minutes to the airport, but is that true? What's going on? Walk them around. If you're looking at this neighborhood, here's what's close by. Explaining things to them, just walking them through there. They'd love that. Pros and cons may sound cheesy, but people love that. People want to know good and bad of the area. Top 5 neighborhoods, top 6 suburbs, any type of list video, something like that. It works really well on top of that. Then you get into search engine optimization. Very, very critical. This is the backbone of YouTube, and this is what I studied before starting out, and this is why we got off to a fast start, because I understood this instead of just trying to figure it out as I went. Now, here's the thing. We use a software, it flip-flops thumbnails every other day so that we don't guess on what may work. We let the audience tell us what's the best thumbnail. Because if you don't win that click, you're not going to get the view. If you don't win the click, you will not get the view. So think about when you open up YouTube, what do you see? Thumbnails. What happens when you open up Netflix? Thumbnails. You'll start looking at Netflix a little differently now if you haven't already. All that is thumbnails. You're standing in the grocery checkout line, magazines, thumbnails. Billboards, thumbnails. So if you start looking at this stuff from a creator aspect and a producer versus a consumer, now the game has changed. So we don't want to guess on this stuff. We want the audience to tell us what works. Now, I thought I was clever, and I was like, let me put a little curse word over my mouth, and that one will do better. That's what I seriously thought, but it didn't. The other one did better. Look at this one. That was 20% higher click-through rate. May not seem like much, but that compounds every single day on YouTube. This one's 387% more clicks. Does that sound like a big deal? Yeah, it is. But look at this. Why? Well, everybody calls us about Frisco, Texas. Top, most popular suburb, good schools, everything. That's what everybody believes, right? And so that's where they want to live. Fairview, right next door, bigger homes, bigger lots, newer communities, actually a better school district than Frisco. But people just don't know about it, never heard of it. And sure enough, this thumbnail proved it. This is Fairview, the new Frisco ? 387% more clicks. You think we got people interested in Fairview after that? Absolutely. This one, 648% more clicks. Now, YouTube likes a click-through rate of anywhere from 2 to 10% plus. 2% at the very bare minimum. But we're always trying to get between 5 to 8. That's where we like to live, 5 to 8. Now, this one, again, 0.78% click-through rate. If we would have left that was our original option. If we would have just left it there and said, okay, this thumbnail is good enough, it would have never got the clicks. YouTube would never promote that video. So because we did a variation and we got right in the middle, 5.8% of that 2 to 10%, guess what? That video got tens of thousands of views. It got promoted by YouTube. So does this make sense that you can be strategic about these types of platforms if the information is there? Lead conversion. If you have to do anything twice in your business, you need a system, a campaign, a trigger, or an automation in place, all right? I've never sent a second email to my lender. If we want to refer somebody, I wrote that email one time. It goes into a trigger. Anytime somebody wants to be referred, I say, awesome. We drag and drop them in the CRM. It automatically fires off the email, right? To the lender, to the agent, to the client, to the TC, whoever needs to. All that is, and we do that for every step in our whole CRM process. Property alerts coming to town, new leads, pre-approvals, under contract closings, all of that is automated. So whenever that happens, we move them. All that needs to happen happens. So then we started to wonder, could we do this, with other people? Could we do with, we partner with agents, all across the world. That's kind of the cool thing. Kyler down in Houston, first 10 months, gave it a try. First 10 months, 22 homes closed, just over 12.5 million. And then, it even works. In Canada as well. Rochelle here in Toronto, within 6 months, had done 200,000 in GCI, 16 transactions. She posted this the other day in her group, and she was like, in the last 7 days, I closed 1.6 million volume, currently working with a 1.3 million buy-sell. Started a team to help me keep up with leads. 200 leads in the first 9 months. Her new agent, brand new license, closed 4 deals that she just gave her because Rochelle got overwhelmed by that. So, I don't think they have sound on here, but I was in Vancouver just a couple of days ago on the elevator. And Adrian here, she's like, hey, you don't know me, but I know you. And I'm like, really? Okay. And she goes, I just wanted to say, I followed everything that you said, and I've already made 40,000 in commissions this year. I was like, awesome. I was like, can we record a video real quick? And that's what she's saying on there. And just ran into her randomly at the elevator we're at EXPCon Canada. So that was pretty cool. Small markets, Chris right here, a nurse. He was a nurse before, no sales experience, no real estate experience, got burnt out during 2020, right? Wanted to get into real estate, didn't want to cold call and door knock and do that other stuff, saw what we were doing. He's like, can I implement this in Northwest Georgia? If you're not familiar with U.S. geography, well, there's not much going on in Northwest Georgia, I'll tell you that. Small country towns, hay fields, all that. And within his first year, he had 5 million closed pending, and then also in the pipeline, and with 0 experience on there as well. And Jonathan in California, he started his channel in August of 2022 when the market completely shifted, and it seemed like everybody disappeared there for a little while, right? But he stuck with it, and then plus everybody's leaving California on top of it. So he's like, I don't know if this is going to work. Everybody's leaving my state. But what he found out was, guess what? A lot of people are leaving LA and San Francisco and want to stay in California. And guess what? Luckily, he's just outside of LA, so he started to get a lot of those people and still was able to close 13 deals in his first 11 months of the channel, although the first 4 or 5 months of that, almost nothing. So you have to stick with it and go through there. And so every single day, if you're in our Facebook group, it's just the successes just keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. It's just over and over and over again. So it's funny that Brent mentioned earlier the BHAG. And this was already prepared. I already had this up there. But we have a BHAG as well. And I say, look, we want to help 100 agents. And I know 100 agents, that may seem small. But whenever I say 100 agents, I'm talking about full-time income. There, some out there will say, I train thousands of agents every single, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I talk to thousands of agents. I don't know if I actually train them or help them earn an income, right? Because a lot of people will see this information and never do anything with it as well. But we want to help really, truly 100 agents. And as soon as we hit that, guess what? We'll probably bump that up because I don't think we're going to stop. We want to keep going. But if we could help 100 people, I think we're at like 20 so far that are earning full-time incomes from YouTube lead generation in their real estate business, completely changed their lives. A couple of those stories back there I love was like the Gleasons on here. If I go up there, they're in there somewhere, but the Gleasons, 18 years in the business, always buying leads. Retired to Virginia, wanted to stay in real estate, but didn't want to start over in a brand new market, didn't want to buy leads and go through that mess, right? They're in their 60s. They're like, well, we could do this. started making videos. Plus, it got them out in the neighborhood, walking around, exploring their new retirement area. And guess what? They're now generating business on a consistent basis from their YouTube channel without buying any leads. And they get to go out, have fun, hang out together. They're going to restaurants and neighborhoods and exploring new options. And everybody always tells us, if you don't know some of your areas very well, this is the number one way to really dig down deep and understand as well. You know how much they research before if they want to make a video? Because if you make a video, you do want to give some factual information, right? You don't want to just make stuff up. But Andy was another good one. He's super cool. He was weeks away from getting out of the business, been in the business for 10 years, and saw what we were doing, and he's like, I could give that a try, and now he's crushing it on there. But let me share with you a quick story, and we'll wrap this up. So it was funny because I thought it was one of your memes on there, Mark, that you had. It's a day in the life of a real estate agent, right? So yes, real estate so far for us has gone very well. But the reason being is because guess what, in my life, lots of setbacks. Ups and if you've ever have you ever charted your life? Probably not on a bar graph. You should do it. You'll realize it's full of ups and downs. I only did it for this presentation, but I was like, you know what? If I really kind of charted my life out, what would it look like? It's ups and downs, right? But the cool thing is that I was supposed to get into real estate 20 years ago. I grew up in a small town called Stephenville, Texas, a couple hours south of Dallas. If you're not milking cows or riding bulls, there's really not much else to do there. All right, so my parents didn't go to college. My two older brothers didn't go to college, and I was the same way. I worked about a year after high school, mopping floors, stocking shelves, and I was kind of like, I don't think this is going to work for me for the rest of my life. So I got to figure out something else. And what I did was I joined the military, like most country boys do to get out of the country, right? So no money, parents didn't have any money, and I thought this would be a great way to get money for college. Now this was 1999 when Brent was making $393,000. So 1999, I was like, join the military. I thought the world is at peace. Nobody's ever going to mess with us. The last Gulf War ended in 8 days, so everybody saw how powerful we are. And so this is a safe bet until 2 years later. And September 11th happened, right? And then guess what? Well, the funny thing was I got that friend, Michael Reese. When I got out of the military, I went back to Dallas, started selling gym memberships at Bally Total Fitness with him. And what did we do? We cold called all day, literally 8 hours a day. The whole goal of Bally's was to get 5 people in the gym the next day to tour the gym so you could sell them a membership. But how did we do that? We had to cold call. And they would set up these little boxes around town for a free membership, and people would drop their information, and we'd call those, and that's what happened. Well, 2004, I was still in the reserves, and I got the call. I remember my captain called me and said, Levi, you're getting activated. You've got 4 days to report to Fort Hood, and you're going to be gone for 18 months. I was like, okay, thanks. Thanks for the heads up. I literally just got my license in. Mike Reese talked me into getting my license. I had it for about 1 week, and then I got deployed. So that's funny, yeah, because if you look on my license, it actually says 2004, but I was gone for 18 months and let it expire. So the thing was, he talked me into being a real estate agent. I never wanted to be an agent. But the thing is that over in Iraq, it's pretty extreme situation, all right? So you think about this, like, look, this is a sandstorm, okay? That's not doctored or edited in any way. That was a 3-day sandstorm, completely shut it down, all operations and everything. You go to the beach today and you think you get some sand in some interesting areas. Try living in a sandstorm for 3 days. It's not fun. It's terrible conditions, but I have no idea why we're smiling riding around in the back of a truck. It was very dangerous, but anybody says, hey, smile, and we take a picture. But so we worked with the Iraqi army. I have no idea why I'm sitting in front of him when he's got a fully loaded weapon right behind me. And I look back and I'm like, why did I do that? And, that's the thing is, like, when you're there, you live in this constant state of anxiety. And the other problem is that, we lost a couple of our team members there. And in Iraq, you don't get days off. You don't get time to mourn. You don't get time to feel sorry for yourself. Like, you have to complete the mission. You have to go back out in the exact same environment that just happened the day before. So when that happens, you can't let the person sitting next to you, down. And you can't just say, I don't feel like going to work today. You have to. And so now I was 24 years old at this time. It was something that gave me clarity. Plus, if you've never been to a really torn up country, it will put a lot of things in perspective. You think you get upset when you're standing in line at Starbucks? try walking around Iraq where there's no trash, there's no sanitation, no trash control, most people don't even have indoor plumbing. Rabid dogs, packs of dogs roaming around, tearing through everybody's trash that they just throw out in the street because they don't leave it in the house, sleeping on their roofs because the homes are made of cinder blocks. And it's so hot because it's 130 degrees during the day, and that's the cinder block home traps in so much heat with no AC that they sleep on their roofs. And then we think, getting stuck in traffic is bad. So that put a lot of things in perspective for me early on. Now, here's the other problem. This was a setback because I tell you what, coming back from this, you've got it messes with you. You've got to get your mind right. And, that's why I didn't go into real estate whenever I came back, because I know how hard real estate agents work. And I saw that from the very beginning, and I was like, I can't do that. I got to get a job. I just wanted to get a job, just get working and just get my mind off of everything. But I also came home with a digestive disease. And it messed with me for about 8 years. And then in 2013, I ended up losing 50 pounds in a single month. And then I became completely bedridden and disabled. And this nearly killed me. And here I was at 33 years old on my deathbed for 3 months, the worst time in my life. Excruciating pain, went to 4 different GI doctors. They threw the kitchen sink at me with everything they had, to the point to where they're like, we just need to remove your colon. That will cure me. That was their answer. But it was by God's grace, I found a natural doctor, and that natural doctor put me on some vitamins and changed my diet, and I was able to recover 100% natural with 0 medication, 0 surgery. And it took a full year to recover naturally too. But at the time, I realized I'd never been anywhere in my life. I went through Iraq, I went through this digestive disease, I never traveled, and I started a financial services business. I was working with all the teachers at Dallas ISD on retirement planning. So now all of a sudden I worked 8 months of the year. I had a teacher schedule for like 5 times a teacher's income. And I was like, this is really cool. I've never been anywhere in my life. I got to get out and see the world. I went to 24 countries inside of 3 years and was having a great time. My business was booming until April of 2020 happened. Right? The world shuts down. Travel and school shut down. That was my whole world right there. And so that's what triggered me to start thinking about, I wasn't even thinking about real estate at that time, because here's where I had one of my biggest setbacks was financially, because over the summer of 2020, the funny thing is my friend Michael Reese, who I've been friends with since 2001, 2002, he was still coming at me to be a real estate agent. And I was kind of like, I don't know, I still don't want to be a real estate agent. So over the summer of 2020, I literally look at this. This is straight wires from my account: 40,000, 25,000, 13,000, 65,000, 17,000. So through April of August, I invested in 2 Amazon stores. That was kind of the craze at this time. I was like, oh, there's these stores. These guys are going to do the work. I'm going to put in the money. I bought into this mentorship. I bought some courses. Actually bought some real estate investment courses, because I was like, well, if I get into real estate, I'd rather be an investor. I don't want to be an agent. But you know what I learned in those investment courses? How to cold call, how to door knock, how to send out postcards. And I was like, well, I don't want to be an investor anymore, right? Because I was 41 years old at this time, 41, and I was asking myself, how do I start over without starting over? Like, I felt like everything had just come to an end, and I was sitting there in the middle of a pandemic going, what's my next move? What business do you start? I'm not going to get a job, 30 million layoffs. Like, what's the next move? So I spent all my money trying to not be a real estate agent, literally. And by the time August came around, I was out of money, and I was like, you know what? Let me call back Michael and say, hey, so tell me. But I asked myself a very simple but really complex question. If I'm going to get into real estate, is there a way I could actually attract business versus chasing after it? See, that was the problem before. I'd sold cell phones, I'd sold gym memberships, pharmaceuticals, financial services, but guess what I realized? All those setbacks that took me out of the game, my business completely stopped. That was it. Once I was removed from the picture, so I didn't have a business. Really, I just had jobs. So you have to think about that and put yourself in that position right now. What do you have? Do you have a job, or do you have a business? Can you step away? Can you step away for a week, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, 6 months? I could stop making videos, not ideal, but I could stop making videos, and I promise leads will probably keep coming in. But it doesn't even have to be me. I can train somebody else. I could get a team member involved. I can build that out. That channel can start to grow forever. So these are the things that you just have to think about. And I'll close up with this and say, look, you've got to choose your hard, right? I mean, it's hard working out, but to me, it's a lot harder being sick. So, health and fitness is very important to me up to this point because I've been there before. I've been disabled at 33. I would never want to go back there again. So I've got to take care of myself. It's hard owning a business, but to me, it's a lot harder having a job, and it's hard making videos, but to me, it's a lot harder making calls. So you don't have to convince me to make videos, though, because I understand the value. And if I offered you $6,300 to make a video, would you make a video? Yeah. But it gets even better because if I offered you $15,000 to make a video, would you make a video? And so that's the value of videos. So when you look at the amount of videos I made compared to the GCI, would you say it's worth it to make videos? And every time I go out to make a video, that's all I got to think about. Oh, this is worth $15,000. And that's it. So if you're not where you want to be, it's just because you probably haven't learned something yet. I believe you can hyper-learn any subject in 60 days. And I believe if you take massive action, focused on that one thing, you can completely change your business. You see, Brent, you heard it, Brent. He focused on open houses. He chose one thing and went all in. He became radical, right? His energy devoted everything to open houses. Christian, everything on TikTok. Look how he's doing on TikTok. We focused 100% on YouTube. And look where it took us because we didn't get distracted. I didn't try to open up 5 different social media platforms at one time whenever everybody tells you as a new agent, hey, you got to be everywhere. Make sure you open up your business page and your Instagram and your TikTok, and right? That's what they tell you. So, yep, took about 22 years to be the overnight success. Lots of ups and downs along the way. But the ups, if you look, the ups, what I decided is they've always been greater than the down. So those setbacks will set you to that. And it's allowed us to, work with some of the best people in the business now and get these opportunities. And I'll close up with this. We do have a full program on this. It walks you through everything step by step by step by step by step. 100% up to you. I know it works, though, but you have to ask yourself this one question. What is your lack of education costing you? So if you do the math on this, let's say your income now is $100,000, but you want to make $1 million. What's holding you back? What's keeping you from getting there? That's what your cost of lack of education is costing you. So that's the difference from what you're making now to where you want to be. If you don't implement something that's going to get you there every single month, every single quarter, every single year, do the math. And if that doesn't scare you, well, I don't know what else will. If you want to, you can. We'll give you. We got this little content cookbook. We'll give that to you for free. If you want to book a call, you want to learn more. If you're interested in this, again, if you want to implement this in your market or your area, you want to take a shortcut on that. You could book a call if you want, and then talk to the team, see if it's going to be a good fit for you. Completely up to you. But I know that this absolutely changed our business. And it's changed so many other people's lives and business as well. And so I thank you for your time. Mark, thank you for having us today, and we really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for watching Passive Prospecting with YouTube. If you enjoyed this, I'd be super grateful if you could like and subscribe. I'm on my journey to 1,000 real subscribers. And don't forget to watch Passive Prospecting with TikTok. I'll see you in the next one. Over and out.